Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with another leak, another rumour. Now, when I say rumour, it is, of course, unconfirmed. This does actually come from a different place than my previous Japanese-focused rumours, so it's not like the Septile and Rayquaza videos where they came from the same anonymous source and both turned out to be correct. This is from Cloud1001 over on YouTube, who has given me a little bit of a heads up. And honestly, this sounds legit. It's all about a new Darkness-type Prism Star Stadium. Now, we've already seen Thunder Mountain, which is the Lightning-type Prism Star Stadium, and we've already seen Life Forest Prism Star, the Grass-type Prism Star Stadium, and just the other day we looked at Heat Factory Prism Star, the Fire-type Prism Star Stadium. So it seems like we are getting one of each type. Now, apparently we are getting a Darkness type in Dark Order. Now, to be fair, Dark Order is a Darkness-focused set, so it would make sense to have a Darkness-type Prism Star Stadium. However, do remember that in Fairy Rise, we didn't get a Fairy-type Prism Star Stadium. We got the Grass type, which is a little bit strange, but then again, there were Grass types in that set as well. Now, essentially, there is a store over in Japan that has displayed some information which has been photographed and translated, and it's not 100% confirmed, but it looks absolutely legit. So what does it do? Well, it is a Darkness-type Prism Star Stadium that says, when a Darkness-type Pokemon is KO'd, the attacking player takes one fewer prize. It is a permanent life dew attached to all of your Darkness Pokemon for just so long as this stadium is in play. Although, of course, much better than life dew, because, you can still have a choice band while having a life dew attached. Now, at this stage, we don't have any confirmation, but I think it's absolutely fair to assume that this will have the same little rule, whereby this stadium cannot be affected by item cards or supporter cards. Because Thunder Mountain did, and Life Forest Prism Star did, and Heat Factory did, so it seems fair that they are all having this. That means that your opponent will not be able to just field blower this stadium away. The two options they will have is getting rid of it with an attack, or replacing it with another stadium. And we talked about this when we looked at Heat Factory. I will, of course, link all the other Prism Star Stadiums in the description. We've got Groudon from Celestial Storm, but no one's playing that. Essentially, we got Remoraid, which is played to evolve into Octillery, which will have rotated out by the time this comes out in Dark Order. Dark Order will be in our February set, by the way. So you can't use a field blow to get rid of it. And as it stands, no one's really playing attacks to get rid of stadiums. Therefore, your only real option here is to replace a stadium. There will be games where your opponent doesn't play any stadiums, which means if you come across somebody who isn't playing any stadiums to bump this, if you play non-GX Pokemon that are Darkness type, you win the game. Unless your opponent can KO all of your Pokemon, or you run out of cards and deck out, you literally are guaranteed to win the game. I mean, imagine playing Hooper from Shining Legends, where your opponent can only attack it with non-EX, non-GX Pokemon. And then imagine that if they can't draw their own stadium, or if they don't play their own stadium, even if they do get a non-EX, non-GX and KO it, they still don't take a prize. But even if you are using GXs, I don't know, let's say you're using Darkrai GX, well, even in that situation, your opponent's only taking one prize for every KO. But let's face it, I use Darkrai as kind of a little bit of misdirection, because we all know it's going to be Zoroark. This works beautifully with Zoroark GX, just in case Zoroark's trade ability wasn't good enough, just in case the attack wasn't good enough, you've now got a stadium that turns it into a single prize Pokemon. You're going to have to all replace that stadium. Oh wait, no. There's not really any great stadium in Zoroark at the moment. There's some we can use, but none that we have to use. If you are lucky enough to come across somebody who's not playing any stadium of their own, you will win just by playing non-GX Darkness Pokemon. Now again, you'll need to recover them with stuff like Rescue Stretcher, because if your opponent KOs all your Pokemon, you lose. But as long as you can keep Pokemon on the field and keep attacking, your opponent's not taking any prizes, and you will win. But the other thing is, this is going to make everyone play stadiums. Now that we're going to have at least 4, and I still think we're going to get 1 for each type here, these Prism Star Stadiums are good. Every grass deck is going to play Life Forest Prism Star because it's a Pokemon Center Lady you can play every turn. Every Lightning deck is going to play Thunder Mountain Prism Star because it reduces the cost of Lightning Pokemon by 1 Lightning Energy. Every Darkness-type deck is definitely going to play this because, well, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize when they take a KO. And they can't be gotten rid of with Field Blower. At the moment, if you're not playing Stadium of your own, you play a couple Field Blower and you go, yeah, we're good. But that's no longer an option. You've got to bump the Stadium. So everyone is either going to be playing an attack, which gets rid of Stadiums, or they're going to be playing their own Stadiums, because if you're against a Darkness deck, you cannot let this stick in the active. There's even a little bit of an argument here to play the Regice from Celestial Storm, which says that your opponent cannot play any Stadium cards from their hand, although it's still not a particularly great attacker. Since the Prism Star cards were introduced, I have long been a fan of Prism Star cards that are over the top good. Because Prism Stars are 1 in your deck, you can have as many as you like, but only 1 of each. And when they get discarded, they go to the Lost Zone. So you show me something like Cyrus Prism Star, and I'm just like, if that wasn't a Prism Star, I still wouldn't play it, and it makes me a little bit sad. But I look at something like Diancie Prism Star, and I'm like, that's nuts good. Of course it's a Prism Star. That's how I feel about this particular card, which is as of yet unnamed. As always, when I do these rumour videos, when the real card is released, I will do a proper video where I show you the image and go through it properly, so that when future people are searching, you find it, and you know it's confirmed. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I was over the top excited to hear about this card, and I'm willing to bet a whole bunch of you didn't want to wait either. It'd be rude of me to make you wait. So, it is a great card. I think in Darkness decks, it is an absolute automatic slam dunk, although I watch a lot of NBA and people miss slam dunks a lot more than you think they would. 1 of in every Darkness deck. But here's the thing. It doesn't just need to be Darkness decks. There is a strong argument here to play this in a whole bunch of different stuff. So, post-rotation, we're losing Octillery, as we've already said. So Zoroark becomes a really good tech just to sit on your bench and be a bit of a draw engine. And if you're playing Zoroark, why would you not play this stadium? Now, in that situation, you're going to have to be slightly more creative in terms of when you actually drop it. But if your opponent's about to KO a Zoroark, just drop it down. Maybe they can't bump it. In any Darkness deck, it's great. If you can find yourself a non-GX Darkness deck like Hooper, it's over the top good. We've seen that Evil Tau Break has actually been a really fun pre-rotation deck. Now it's rotating out, though you could obviously have this in Expanded. And if you're playing Evil Tau Break and spreading a bunch of damage around, imagine if your opponent cannot take a prize for ever KOing them. Life Dew was so good, it was an ace spec that you can only have 1 in total of all ace specs in your deck. This is that in a stadium, but the thing about Life Dew was, firstly, your opponent could Field Blower it, secondly, they could Guzma around it and KO something else. But if all you've got on your field is Darkness Pokemon, your opponent can't Guzma around this, and they can't Field Blower it. And they're probably not playing a Pokemon that will bump the stadium, although honestly, I could see people starting to tech in Pokemon that bump stadiums, because these Prism Star Stadiums are looking really good. And I expect by the time each type's got one, and I'm sure that's going to happen, I think it's fair to say every single deck will be playing at least one of these. So not being able to use Field Blower is going to force us to have something else. So it's like Life Dew, but on all of your Pokemon at the same time, and your opponent can't get rid of it with a Field Blower. It's a 5 Wassy card. Like, it's an over-the-top, don't even worry about it, not even a question for a second, 5 Wassy card. Whereas with Heat Factory, I looked at it and I went, well, it's quite good. Discard a fire energy, draw 3. It's like a slightly better version of Scorched Earth. It's quite a good card. I look at this and I'm just like, it's crazy good. It's over the top broken good, but it's a Prism Star. To be perfectly honest with you, this is the perfect Prism Star. Crazy good, but only one in your deck. Not 100% confirmed, ladies and gentlemen, but like I say, a poster in Japanese was put up in a Japanese store, which has been photographed and translated and told us this was coming. That seems like a reliable leak to me. But as always, I want to know what you think. Do you think this card is as good as I think it is? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but do remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. Do make sure you check out my video game Transformers Dragon Ball channel Wassy Plays. There's more Wassy action. It's fun. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.